Hello everyone. As I mentioned Gene Jack on my last video, I wanted to watch one of his films again, a film that left me wanting more when I first watched it. I named it Enemy at the Gates, released in March 2001. Indeed, at first viewing I found the film a bit demonstrative and excessively tragic, going so far as to flout history to generate easy pathos. But I swallowed my ego, and I realized that the film was 20 years old, that we didn't know everything at the time, not even now, and that historians often contradict themselves. We will follow throughout the film the Russian elite sniper Vasily Zaitsev and his dual, most likely fictional, Major Erwin Koenig. From this premise, we can already hardly consider Enemy at the Gates as a historical film. Certainly the crossing of the Volga at the beginning is epic and very well filmed, but the film can get a little lost because of its love triangle that is not always credible. Paradoxically, we could believe that the uneven pace would be due to the long phase of waiting and tracking between the two snipers, but these are the best scenes in the film. The duels are examples of tension and suspense management in cinema. I would also like to address the musical aspect, and there I am not going to make any friends. I really like James Horner, but here he reuses too many melodies already heard in other films. There is his famous leitmotif, The Danger That Returns. There is the introduction of aliens that returns here. But if we ignore that the music accompanies the film well, except perhaps in certain moments that would have deserved to be quieter, like the duel, including pieces of glass. Of the two main actors, I admit that it is Joseph Fiennes who wins the bet. I like journey and the total disillusionment on which it ends. His final scene is also striking and will not fail to mark the viewer. I like this idea that no matter the camp, ideology is nauseating and produces nothing. In this case, it is only a machine to crush humans. We are witnessing real hell on earth, enemy soldiers who do not believe in their cause. Because Major Koenig, while he is relentless and efficient instrument of his regime, is not devoid of all characteristics that encourage empathy. Given that the character probably never existed, it is easy to make him pretty much whatever you want. He is one of the least talkative characters, but oddly enough the one who is the greatest vector of emotions, all restrained to existing. The fact that we know that he lost his son, and that he gets rid of his metal courage as a result, is a rather touching act, which humanizes the character, although he shows surgical precision, and that the war pushes him to commit atrocities. The fact that Koenig adopts the cause for which he fights. Not addressed, we just have a character who seems to be suffering and waiting for death. This is what Ed Harris's gaze translates, in my opinion. At the best part of the film, in my opinion, Ed Harris is perfect in the role. I wouldn't say it's a complex film, but it's not too mannish, which is worth pointing out. There is no pure moral. The propaganda aspect is also addressed in the film, perhaps a little too much, but at least it allows us to appreciate Bob Hoskin's succulent performance as Nikita Karacha. We will say that the propaganda aspect of the film serves the fact that, despite the inherent horror of war, it is perceived as a noble duel, non-stages of war, where no one is truly just. The Germans are implacable, but the Soviets are ready to sacrifice their own men for victory. Heroism here is an ideological construct rather than an absolute reality. This is why Vasily rejects this image of hero that Danilov tries to stick on him. Vasily has witnessed many carnages, hiding all the dead behind. The character who would be a guide seems to him out of place, even abject. Whether the soldiers are some cannon fodder or a recognized hero, they are only pawns and share the same fate. I hope I didn't make this little analysis blatant truism. I mainly focus on the warlike aspect of the film and not the romantic aspect. I admit that the sex scene comes a bit out of the blue in my opinion, even if it is quite comical when you think about it. So I hope I didn't state the obvious that I was able to provide a visual of the work that you will find interesting despite my limitations. I'll see you in the next video.